Hey guys, I can't believe it. It is August 18th already, and we're just a couple of weeks away from the upcoming event. Um, I don't know how hard you are selling this, but if you're not, you need to do that. I've discovered that people don't make decisions to do anything until at least 2 weeks prior to doing something. So you're certainly not late. Um, I'll just tell you that from my experience over the course of the last 30 years, um, major events like this that happen with Valentis every couple of times a year are really inspiring to people who have never been before. I mean, they're still inspiring to me. I mean, I love to go, and because of the camaraderie, because they start to get a bigger picture, right? And so I'm inviting everybody I possibly can and sending out text messages, asking, if they can come, if you've got air miles, if you're not too far to drive, and so on and so forth. And, I would continue that. I'm going to, one of the things that, I'm going to be down there Wednesday night for the Diamond Dinner. And then on Thursday, I've got a room set up, actually a conference room, a board room. And so I'm going to be meeting with people and are scheduling out times and so on and so forth to meet with people, prospects, local people, people from around the globe, whatever, right? And so I'll make sure that you guys know exactly where that's at. And it's not going to be as much fun as what I had hoped we were going to do on Thursday, but I got pushed into so many potential prospect meetings that I just couldn't. I just couldn't tear myself away and go to Universal Studios. So that's how it is. So next time. So we will. Had I not have gone to an event back when I first started, I probably wouldn't be in this business because I didn't understand it. But as a result of that first event, I saw people that I knew weren't highly intelligent, that were making a great deal of money, and that was really the tipping point for me, because I said to myself, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. And, I certainly still, feel like that. And I'm so glad, and I can't tell you how happy I am to see John making $500,000 a month. I mean, I'm just delighted, not only for him, but for me, right? And because if he can do it, what we're about to experience over the course of the next 3 to 5 years is going to be phenomenal. So enough about the event. You know when it is. If people can't get there for all the time, get there for part of the time, some of the time. Any of the time is better than none of the time. So anyway, I want to talk to you about timing. And I love this picture. I love this this little snapshot of the guy laying back his fishing pole out of the water, and the fish just couldn't wait to get into the boat. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I'm happy to report that you're about to experience something that very few people ever get to experience. I've experienced it 3 other times, and now I really appreciate it, because you know what? It just doesn't come around that often. It just doesn't happen, all that often. This is the first company that I was part of. I joined it in 1987, right about here, and struggling, and luckily I got my education in. It takes a good year, right? I mean, it really takes a good year from, to kind of get indoctrinated into everything, especially if you're not a very good student. And I don't think I was a very good student in the very beginning. I had too much of an ego. I had too many opinions of you know, the way that it should be done and so on. And I just didn't understand it, right? I thought we were in the business of selling water filters. I mean, if I asked once, I probably asked 100 times, well, if I do that, if I do, who's going to sell this stuff? And I was told over and over again, don't worry about that. Somebody will. You know, and so I finally, you know, gave in to that and said, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. You know, obviously somebody will. And, you know, as we kind of climb through this momentum, the fish started jumping in the boat. I mean, the events kept getting larger and larger and larger, more national marketing directors and on and on and on. And the incomes continued to grow and grow and grow. So that was a very exciting time. I wish that I would have been even more educated in the business than I was, because I would have made a lot more money. Let me show you something that kind of happened to me in 1992 or 1992. I joined a company. I had left that other company. I moved out to Arizona. I left that other company because of some integrity issues, and I won't go down that road, but, you know, I should have sucked it up and stayed there because my buddy has made $125 million with that company. So, you know, lesson learned is that if you're in a company and it doesn't leave you, you never leave it. So no matter what happens, right? You never leave it, because those things will get sorted out and get fixed one way or the other. So I joined a little company out of Phoenix, Arizona. And as you see here, I had 50 whole people in my first genealogy. And back then, guys, genealogies were not on computers. They were not on the internet. They were in printouts, right? And eventually my printout got very large. But as you see what happened here, in the course of 1 year, you know, 5/6 of 93, I had 75,898 people. We had a very good story. We had a great product. We had a lot of people starting to jump in the boat, right? You know, here's one of the checks. There's a volume, generational volume down here, 6.5 million, you know. That was my team. That was my group, right? 6.5 million. My group went on to grow to over 400,000 people and do over $20 million worth of business a month. Now, I worked real hard for a couple of years here, and then there wasn't any point of working. I mean, it's kind of like where John is right now. He's worked pretty hard over the course of the last 12 months. And he's put 5 years in altogether, but he's now at a point where it really doesn't matter whether or not he works or not. I mean, he's still going to get the same amount of money whether he works or not. And that's what I discovered. And because I had so many other leaders in place that they really didn't need me. So I worked myself out of a job, right? That's what all of you want to do. You want to work yourself out of a job. You want to duplicate yourself so many times over so that all of that activity continues to happen with or without your involvement. That's the one part of network marketing that I love the best, right? I mean, getting paid and not working is the ultimate, right? It is the optimum. And here's what's going to happen. I mean, 2020 projections, you know, the fish are going to start jumping in the boat because John says we'll be doing 12 million a month, I say maybe 10 million. We might be doing 12, but I say 10 million. We'll be conservative. But here's the line, to get to 400 million by the end of the year. I mean, that's going to be a huge run. And for all of the people that are engaged, I mean, really engaged, then you're going to see a huge explosion in your organization. You're going to see a huge explosion in your income. And I just wanted you to start to visualize going from 10 million to 400 million over the course of that year. One of the things that we don't do a very good job at, and I try to be on these calls, I try to always be brutally honest, right? That is that if something is good, I say it's good. If something's not so good, I tell you it's not so good. And we're not doing a good enough job inviting people to the Zooms that we put on. So I know everybody, and I'm not asking people to invite 10, but if you have to invite 10 to have one show up, then you have to invite 10. You can't invite one thinking one is going to show up. That equation never works, right? And so there's different ways that you can use to invite people. I don't ever tell them that, oh, well, don't worry about it, it'll happen tomorrow. No, I say there's something very special happening tomorrow night at 8:30 East Coast time. Are you available to jump on a video conference for a little bit? What is it? Hey, you just got to hear it for yourself, right? And I use that, curiosity, right? That hook, if you will, to engage people to come and take a look, because that's all we really want them to do. We want them to get, these little exposures, right? And they may have seen a video, they may have seen this, they may have tried the coffee, they may have done a couple of other things, but they need to get bigger and bigger pictures of everything. So we, as a team, need to do a better job of getting not only prospects on, but our team engaged in that mechanism, right? So they have to be on, because you know what? This is a teaching business, right? And when Mitch or I are up there, telling the story, that is a great way of teaching people, what this business is all about. So I would highly encourage everybody getting their teams engaged and making sure that they're on there with you and with guests. And then, have them at the close of that, introduce that guest, take that guest and three-way them over to, the other various team members and get people introduced to one another. So I know, and I'm going to continue talking about this. We should have 100 people on the Zoom. I mean, there's just no question about it. We should be blowing it out with as many people as we have. And I just, I just did a count. I don't know where I put that now, but you can kind of take your volume, right, in the back office, and you can say, well, most of that volume comes from monthly reoccurring purchases, right? And so what's the average? The lowest number is 50, right, for it to happen, and the highest number is probably 100. So if you took some kind of number in between there, maybe it's 60, you can divide your volume by 60 and you can kind of get a feel for how many people you have in your organization. And so with as many people as I know we have, we should be blowing the doors off of this. This is a great way to get people exposed to the business. And Mitch is trying to do them shorter. I'm trying to do them longer. So with that. I saw this and I had to include it in here because, well, number one, it's all true, right? And I thought it just made so much sense. You know, it says in a recent survey interviewed over 1,000 network marketers, and here's what we found, right? All of these people, including the millionaires, work their business part-time. So, you know, you have to start to look at, you know, hours worked. Now, here's, you know, 6, 12, 25, part-time, right? Part-time. So obviously the person that is working 25 hours a week is doing twice as much and or 4 times as much as somebody who's going to be average. I know that none of you on this Zoom are average. So hopefully you're beyond successful and start falling into that millionaire category. The phone dials per day, you know, that's another big one, right? I mean, you know, after you get past the fear of dialing a phone call and having somebody say, no, I'm not interested, you know, then it's really like water off a duck's back, right? And it's just a matter of, you know, how many no's can I get? People talk to per day, you know, 1, 7, 15. You know, you got to keep your own score. This is, you know, you don't have to report to anybody. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But, you know, if you do, then you need to keep score. I'm a big believer in keeping score. And, you know, just having a log and how many people you talked to, how many Zooms you did, how many trainings you did, how many everything you did, right? Presentations, face-to-face, Skype, Zooms, whatever. 2, 8, and 20. So, you know, what's your score? 2, 8, or 20. Follow-ups per day. 1, 4, or 10. I go way beyond 10. I go way beyond 10 because I do a lot of just little quick text messages to people. This is the instrument that they look at 24/7, right? So this is the instrument that I use the most. If you look at my screen time, you'll see that. My wife says, "Hey, you're always on the phone. You're always on the phone." I go, yeah. And, you know, I got to send out a few more text messages, right? So, follow up. I can't even begin to tell you how important that, you know, continuous follow-up is. I've had people now join me after 14 months of me following up on them. Hopefully some of them are on here tonight. Number of no's per week. You know, you get the number of no's by talking to a lot of people. So, you know, a lot of people get their feelings, you know, hurt and get disappointed and all of those things because they take those no's personally when it's not personal. It's just, hey, I don't want to deal with that right now, so I'm going to tell you no. But there may be a time and a place when I'll say yes, you know. I mean, I've got emails from people who have just recently joined me that 14 months ago said, no, there's just no way in hell that I'm going to be doing any of that. I'm done. And, you know, here they are, right? Here they are, because I continued to follow up with them and I continued to send them little clips, right? Like that clip of John and Rick and myself, you know, here, watch this. And they go, whoa, I didn't know. I had no idea, right? And so it's just these little snippets. Conference calls with guests. Isn't that amazing? I just talked about that. Average, none. Successful, 2. And a millionaire, 5. You got to put people on the Zooms all the time. Number of new reps each week. Again, you got to set a goal, right? Average is none. That's the average pretty much for, you know, this industry you know, because if it was, this is such a simple business, and it's such a simple business to make money in. If everybody just got two, if everybody just got two, and they just built, you know, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, it would be a little bit slower, but it would be magnificent, you know, once it was built, because it's the people that get none that are really, you know, don't contribute. The activity level for a millionaire is much more intense than the average or even successful reps. Which best matches your activity level? You know, and I got that off of my buddy Ron Malase's website. And I'll talk about Ron in a second. Here's a couple of events that you guys need to be building for. Again, it's always building for the next event, building for the next event. Just like we're building for the next event in Orlando, we're building for the next event, a Zoom tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it just continues to go on and on and on. These are some magnificent events. I mean, anybody who's been to Marshall Silver's Turning Point event is always blown away. I mean, they're just blown away. So here, September the 6th to the 8th, at Newark Airport and Midtown Manhattan, right, for the 13th through the 15th, and you know, then out to the West Coast up in the Bay Area. So, you know, if you've purchased a Business Builder Pack, you've qualified for 2 tickets to Turning Point. Anyone who purchases a Business Builder Pack will receive 2 complimentary tickets. So I would be hammering that, right? And letting people go to Marshall's website and see who this guy is and use his credibility. Diamond, very close to double diamond. I'm just trying to, he's missing one ingredient. He's missing a diamond in his team. And so I'm working with several people to try to get them to diamond as quickly as possible. Then he needs a second, then he needs a third, then he needs a fourth. So yeah, it's going to happen. You know, it's just a matter of time. But you know, if you're anywhere close, you've got people anywhere, you know, on the East Coast, in Philly, in Jersey, in Delaware, in Connecticut, Massachusetts, wherever, you know, they can hop a quick flight into Newark and be at that event. And this is I think September 6th is a Friday, right? Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's a little bit more convenient than what he does out in Las Vegas when he does maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So definitely work on that. I sent out this website to everybody, leadpower.net/legend. And that's a website that Ron Malase's put together. Ron owns Lead Power. I've known Ron for about 30 years, met him in the first company that I was in. And he was a builder in that company, was a builder in the second company we went to, which was Quorum. And then he got, when that dissipated and went away, Ron got into the lead business and has been doing a fabulous job. I took advantage of the part of the program with unique clicks, right? So I gave them a landing page and we started sending traffic to that landing page. Now I snatched this, you know, off of there, I think this morning or yesterday. And so I still have some unique clicks to go, but I already had 55 people pre-enrolled. Now, I don't know, you know, again, they're all in a power line. They're all getting messages from the company. They're all getting emails from the company. They're all getting emails, you know, when the next person joined, they're getting emails, you know, coming to them that somebody has joined your team. And if you're not really familiar with how the pre-enrollment system works, I would encourage you to pre-enroll yourself using another email address and get into that loop, right? So that you can better understand what happens in that progression of things. So I've got 55 people in there getting messages, but more importantly, I've got all their phone numbers, I've got all their email addresses, and I invited a lot of them onto this training. I invited a lot of them onto other things, right? And so I'm just going to continue to drip on them. And obviously, when somebody pulls the trigger, down below these 55, then everybody upline is going to get a message that says, oh, this person just upgraded. And, now we start that whole fear of loss thing. And then, of course, by Thursday, it kind of, gets to a crescendo. But, if you're not using, the power line system, if you're not using, that fear of loss, if you're not using, that I'm building one leg, we all know that you're going to build two legs, but for the moment, you're building one leg, right? And that's how I started. I went to my friends and I said, hey guys, who wants to be first? I'm going to build Valentis and I'm going to build down this leg, and who wants to be first? And whoever raised their hand, got to the website, enrolled, bought a business builder pack, got in. Obviously, I couldn't control whether they bought a business builder pack or not, but trust me, I told them that that's what the qualifications were, right? So I was looking for 10 people right away, and that's how I got my activity going. Just again, that fear of loss, because everything I did, I drove down that leg, kept driving down that leg, because I had volume on the other side. Now, not everybody has that, the luxury of having that. If you do have a sponsor like Rick or myself or Mitch or Lori or whoever, right, who's actively engaged in building an organization, then you're going to have this line, this enroller leg that is, you're going to participate and be able to capitalize on that enroller leg. So for every 100 BV that I put in my leg to infinity, I made 20 bucks. That's 20%, guys. 20% to infinity on volume is awesome. So if you're not using it, like I said, start using it. I was going to go and I was going to go through this and explain it, but I'm going to hold back. We all know that this is what it takes to get to be legacy qualified, right? You have to have 3 people with a business builder pack. If you have other people that have joined and haven't purchased a business builder pack, whenever that happens, whenever you're 3 people that come along that buy a business builder pack, then you've fulfilled the qualifications of being legacy qualified. And what that means is that you're going to make more money, right? So you're going to make an extra $100 on every business builder pack that you personally enroll, and that your number 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, and 9, and 10, all of those people, you're going to get paid off of the first 3 of the first 3 of the first 3 of the first 3 of all of those people. Now, as much as I'd like to say that that is going to be a big part of your check, that would be a lie, right? Because it's a part of your check, but it's not a significant part of your check. It may be significant in the beginning as you're building, your organization, because I've got over 200 people in my legacy team. And, my legacy bonus is something, but it's not, what my dual team bonus is. So our focus, your focus, our focus as a team is to work on your dual team, right? Work on that, because that's where the big money is. This is just a component, and if it works out right, yes, there's some money to be made there. So, you know, get that qualification out of the way, continue sponsoring, never stop sponsoring, right? You're getting number 4, you're getting number 5, you're getting number 6, you're getting number 7, and on and on and on. And, you know, do that as quickly as possible. What this is, guys, I put together what a diamond organization looks like. Now, maybe you need to draw this out on a whiteboard. Maybe you need to put it on a piece of paper, draw some circles up there. We're all visual people, right? So we all do better if we can look at something like a roadmap, right? And you've got something, and you start putting names in those spots, right? So they may not have joined yet, but I'm going to put, you know, Art's name right here. I'm going to put Tom's name right here. I'm going to put Jim's name right here. I'm going to put Nancy's name right there. And you get the idea, right? Hey, Jim, I put your name at the top. Now, you know, I'm coming to you first, and you can have this top position. I'll email you something. I'll show you right where you're going to go. And everybody else that I'm going to build is going to go underneath you. So you can either take advantage of that or not, right? And more than likely, he's going to say, well, hey, hang on a second. You know, let's investigate this a little bit. But this is what a diamond organization. Now, this could be what I tried to get to was 1,500 in enroller tree volume. This is the enroller leg, the right leg. So 1,500 in enroller tree volume. You have to have 15,000, but 10% of that has got to be from you, from your personal efforts and the efforts of those people that you personally enrolled. So obviously, if you went over here and put an emerald right here, that's 800 BV. You put another emerald over here, now you're only 2 people, right? 2 people, $1,200 package, and it's 800 BV. So it might be 2 people rather than 4. The same situation over here. You could put an emerald here, emerald, 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 and you know, that would give you the volume of a diamond, right? 15,000 BV on this side. Hopefully your enroller leg has got more than 15,000 on it, but 1,600 or 50, actually 10%. So you can get 90% of the qualification from your enroller, but 10%. And that's what keeps that enroller leg continuing to build, right? It goes from 1,500 to 3,000 to 6,000 to 25,000. So I'm working on getting my enroller leg to my enroller tree volume on this side to 25,000 right now. And then you have to continue on with that. So I'm going to have more, and we're going to spend some time on this at some point in the very near future. But I've already talked more than I thought I could tonight. So what I'm going to do is stop the share and stop the recording, if you guys don't mind.